Thank you so much for staying tuned. In this particular discussion segment is all about the security situation in the country. And I have Honorable Desmond Ugbo here with me in the studio, one-time Vice Chairman, Ego Local Government, Acting Chairman, Ego Local Government, Political Analyst, and of course, a card-carrying member and the Chieftain of the APC. Honorable, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Good morning.
All right.
Thank you, Wisi, for having me.
Security situation in Nigeria is becoming very, very worrisome to the extent that the Federal Capital Territory is not left out. Though they've been trying to combat it, it's like the bandits, the kidnappers, they are not resting on their oars. They are still there attacking, kidnapping, in other states, maiming, sacking villages, communities. I mean, the president promised us security. How do you think all this is going and where all this is heading to?
Thank you, Wisi. You see, the insecurity situation of our country, though it's not new, but one would have expected the current government to start addressing it. At a point, we were told in this country that over 8 to 13 local governments in a particular state were sacked and occupied by terrorists and their gangs. And all this while, a lot of measures were being employed to ensure that they reduce it to a barest minimum. It's like in other parts of the world where the government tried to minimize the issues of insecurity. But in Nigeria, owing to the activities of ISWAP, the Boko Haram and so many other groups whose activities is targeted at disrupting the peace in the locality, particularly now that we are going into another planting season, where the government should come in right on time to ensure that there will be no scarcity of food. Because if a community is sacked and people are killed, and the inhabitants of the community find it difficult to go to the farm and cultivate the land, then there will be a lot of issues when it comes to the food crisis. Then the current government has evolved several measures to ensure that this issue of insecurity is reduced. You cannot completely eradicate insecurity, but to reduce it to a barest minimum or to a controllable level where citizens can say, yes, one can travel without being attacked on the highway. One can sleep and the two eyes closed. One can have his or her properties somewhere, and there will be no that fear of being taken over by somebody else. So in Nigeria recently, we've seen, even during the festivity, the Xmas festivity, we were told that in one local government in Plateau State, they were sacked, over 48 or thereabout persons were killed. And only recently, about 2 weeks or so, there was a repetition of such attack. And that brings to the question, is there no security men in that place? Is there no police? Is there no military or any other security apparatus put in place to checkmate the excesses of this unknown brigandage? For me, I believe that the state government, as far as this issue is concerned, should work and collaborate with the federal and the local government. Just like what is happening in Abuja. Recently, we saw that Abuja is also assuming the insecurity there is assuming a worrisome dimension. A situation whereby people are kidnapped, properties are destroyed, the people are killed unjustly and unwantonly. For me, it is beyond what we can point accusing finger at the federal government for. The state, the local government, and the community. In every community, we have paramount head, we have chiefs, Niges or John Wire, as the case may be in the south. In the north, we have royal fathers, the traditional rulers and all that, the emirs and all that. Should put heads together by way of coming out periodically. If it is on a monthly basis, they call for a security meeting to review the activities of this insecurity in their domain. It will go a long way to nip and arrest all this ugly trend. Because it will be very difficult if some group of persons just come from another community and attack without a collaborative effort of those within to give them information. So once there is this network intelligence gathering and the people don't compromise by way of those inhabitants are compromising the security architecture of that place by way of giving them information that look, the men are no longer around, or the women are around, or the security have left and all that. So you will see that it will go a long way to be a difficult thing for federal government to handle. Because for me, I believe that the issue and the work of security is not for one person alone.
All right. Does not mean that for them to have the guts to have attacked, so to speak, the seat of power, does it mean that they are going stronger by the day and the government is incapable of handling the situation? We're talking about Abuja here.
Yes, that is where...
They too have its own issue.
Yes.
Maiduguri and the rest of them have their own, but now the seat of power. Even Benue, for example, when there was an attack also in Benue, in Kaduna, it's like, but now for the seat of power to be under siege.
Let me tell you, you see, that of Abuja, it is understood that it is a seat of power, and that it is a place for both the good, the bad, and the ugly. Nobody will be asked to leave Abuja so long as you are doing your legitimate job there. But there is this proliferation of persons with questionable characters. You go to some parks. I've been to Abuja, and I see some parks. You see some people living there. They don't have a particular place they sleep, but that is where they live. From there, they go and hustle, whether legitimate or otherwise. They come back and reside that place. You see, poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. The reason why it's heightening on a daily basis is because they see the economic situation is also one of those responsible factors. And those criminal elements that are now resident in Abuja could be a kind of a threat now, because they are seeing the minister of FCT now as a non-turner. So people might be resisting the fact that this man is taking a tougher measure on ensuring that normal thing is done in the state. But beyond that, there is these activities of some indigent, some very tenacious residents in that place who are colluding with those external factors to come and cause this mayhem. For somebody to cause a kind of a crisis in your house from outside, it will be very difficult, if not the tacit connivance of people from within. So there is no way they can launch an attack in Abuja repeatedly without those locals being involved in it. The reason why the minister of FCT, His Excellency Wike, call a meeting of all the local government chairmen, the traditional rulers, telling them, look, this security meeting, I want it to be replicated in your local government, in your municipality. It should be replicated, and making sure that every month you hold this meeting. Let every traditional rulers, every heads of the quarters be involved in the meeting, and let them report the situation of their very domain, with a view to now know those who are fomenting trouble in that area. If they know that there is a strange faces in their locality, there is no way they cannot quickly arrest the trend. But if the locals are colluding, they are conniving with those strange faces, perhaps they are aware of their coming, they are harboring them with a view to now organizing an attack against their people. It might not be them directly, but people they fed are not even, they are not happy about living in that place. And that is what makes it rampant all the time. So I'm very sure with the measure put in place by the FCT minister, it will go a long way to try and minimize it, so long as the police themselves does not compromise, or the security, I'm using the word security now, does not compromise. Because
so you're talking about compromise, right?
Yes, there are a lot of cases where you see the police themselves are even giving vital information to terrorists.
Also bad police officials, yes, and of course military officials.
I saw in one report, I think yesterday, when the chief of army staff or so, or former chief of naval staff was indicted in his collusion with oil theft. These are people that were saddled with the responsibility of arresting those oil thefts, and they are now colluding with them by way of getting proceed from the money. The very set of crime that we were saddled with such governmental powers to arrest, you are now aiding and abetting. So in such compromise, it will be very difficult to find a lasting solution to it.
Wow, interesting. So now, what do you think should be done right now? Because there have been series of bombardment of, hideouts of terrorists. Though there was one incident that claimed the lives of innocent people, which came out to apologize for that particular error and mistake. But it's like they are not backing down. It is like almost every or anyone without a job tend to be attracted to this nefarious inclination of becoming a kidnapper. It got so bad that on the news in our sister station, I get to hear that people kidnap people in Abuja for a sum or ransom of 100,000 naira. Has it gotten that bad?
Yeah, you see, let me tell you, the rate at which people crave for earth materialism, coupled with the fact that some people want to make quick money, they just abandon what probably they should do legitimately to make ends meet, but rather choose to take shortcuts by way of going into crime and criminality. Yes, some people kidnap for as low as 50,000 naira. It all depends on the profile of the person in question. And internal security mattered most, because if, for example, you have a neighbor who knows that you have little money, and that this is the same neighbor you equally ask to pick your child or your words from the school, and this criminal-minded neighbor might be tempted one day to interact with his colleagues to carry out such kidnapping. And at the end of the day, he will be the first person to be telling them your reactions, your actions, and your inactions towards such incidents. So it will become very difficult. The reason why profiling residents of Abuja should be one thing we should recommend. Apart from installing CCTV camera in some areas, the rampant nature of kidnapping and bombardment should be a call for concern for the federal government, state government, and indeed the local government. Thank God if the report we saw on social media a day before was anything to go by. That now that the local government have been granted autonomy, full autonomy, whereby INEC will be asked to conduct local government elections. I think it will go a long way to sever the local government from the apron strings of the states, wherein there are issues of funds being siphoned that was meant for local government. So I think they will now have the legitimate power and all the powers derived from the Constitution to function effectively, because local government is the closest government to the people. If local government are fully empowered, there is no way it will not address the issue of insecurity. There is no way, because it is the local government that holds security meeting with the Ojon Wores, the Eniges, the traditional rulers in every communities. It is not the states. So it's only when the state is going for election that they now use the niggas and the traditional rulers for something best known to them. But the regular call for SOS stop at the desk of the local government council boss, because all these complaints of there is kidnapping, there is issue of burglary, there is theft in the neighborhood, there is this, there is that, always being reported to the local government. But because they have been tied to the apron strings of the states via the House of Assembly, they are left with nothing to arrest the situation, because he who paid the piper usually will dictate the tone. So the reason why I want to applaud that development, if it is true, because it is a long-awaiting development as far as this country is concerned. Because the judiciary, they be given their autonomy. The legislative arm of government have been given autonomy. The executive arm has since been enjoying this autonomy right from the inception of that constitution. So the third tier of government should also be given the autonomy to function effectively for the betterment of the people. There are then this issue of pointing accusing finger to one segment of the government will now be limited to the local government, wherein local vigilante will be well empowered, where issues of local policing and proper equipping and remunerations for people at the locals to ensure that the issue of security is taken so seriously will be put in place properly.
So there is a focus more on the local government?
Of the local government, yes.
Okay. So finally, we're going to wrap on this show. How do you think all these other states going through this severe harassment and pain of the local government village being sacked, how do you think they should cope, and what should the government do for them to provide succor ASAP?
Okay, now, you know that every state provides for security vote for the governor.
Yes.
And this security vote, I'm sure, is not meant for personal pockets. It is meant to assist the security apparatus of the state to function effectively by way of provision of vehicle for mobility, for assisting them in taking arms against crimes and criminality. But now that things are happening in other states, it is now the lot of the state governors to now borrow a leave to safeguard the citizens from these activities from coming to their state. Because if care is not taken, those that are driven away from
other
state
states,
A
yes,
will now find a safe haven in state B. So it is now the lot of the state governors to quickly call a security meeting to see to how they can nip it at the bud, making sure that at the border point of entrance, they should mount roadblocks that are not meant to collect and extort money from commuters, but to really check out for those with criminal minds and criminal tendencies.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Next time, definitely you express yourself more in other spheres of discussion this morning on ITV. I so much appreciate your coming. All right. Now, this will draw curtains for today's edition of This Morning on ITV. Bye for now.